Once the cradle of one of the most formidable cavalry empires in history, this land cast a long shadow across the vast stretches of Eurasia, leaving a deep impression with its fierce presence on the battlefield. A country shaped by unforgiving nature, from the arid Gobi Desert to the snow-capped peak of Mount Koulan, where white frost lingers all year round. A nation home to as many as 4.8 million horses, outnumbering its population of just over 3 million people. Mongolia. Every creature here carries within itself a survival instinct honed down to the bone, shaped by the demands of a raw and relentless wilderness. 30% of the population lives as nomads, fully immersed in the rhythm of nature, dwelling in traditional ger tents and moving with the changing seasons. Before diving into the untamed world of this nomadic land, let us know where you're from by dropping a comment below. And now, welcome to wild Mongolia. What makes these predators so unforgiving? Winds whip through the rugged cliffs of the Altai mountains, where the snow leopard moves like a shadow, gliding between ice and dark stone. At the mountain's base, the Mongolian wolf tracks its prey across hardened soil, cracked and weathered by prolonged drought. Farther south, the wild Bactrian camel journeys across the scorching Gobi, where the sands have grown saltier and more unforgiving than ever before. Out on the steppe, the Przewalski's horse, the last truly wild horse on Earth, must now share the ever-dwindling water sources with livestock and expanding extraction sites. Above the warming mountain peaks, the bearded vulture circles in wide arcs, searching for animal remains amid an unusually mild winter. In the winter of 2023, the Dzud, a brutal cycle of extreme weather marked by summer droughts and winter snowstorms, returned as a relentless loop. Heavy snow and layers of ice sealed off the ground, cutting animals off from the pastures they depend on. The survivors, both wild and domesticated, had no choice but to rise again and keep learning how to adapt. Nestled between two giants, Russia and China, Mongolia stands as a vast and untamed buffer zone. Covering more than 1.56 million square kilometers, this landlocked nation is the second largest of its kind in the world, yet its population is only about 3.4 million people as of 2025. That makes Mongolia the most sparsely populated country on Earth, with just around 2 people per square kilometer. From the arid Gobi and the towering Altai mountains to the endless steppe, Mongolia remains one of the last places in Asia where truly wild, untouched landscapes still endure. The land here rises like an ancient stone carpet, with an average elevation of about 1,580 meters above sea level. From the snow-covered peaks of the Altai Mountains in the west, where Mount Koulan reaches as high as 4,374 meters, to the winding valleys of the central Khangai Mountains and the wind-swept plains of the eastern Mongolian steppe, each region feels like its own distinct world. To the south lies the Gobi Desert, stretching vast and dry like an ocean of sand and stone. A place that has yielded some of the most significant dinosaur fossil discoveries on Earth. All of these landforms trace their origins back to tectonic activity that began millions of years ago during the early shaping of the Eurasian continent. Mongolia lies within the Central Asian orogenic belt, a region formed through the collision of multiple tectonic plates over hundreds of millions of years. Around 410 million years ago, this area was once an ancient ocean, which later closed and gave rise to mountain ranges, suture zones, and inland volcanic activity. Sites like Nemegt and Ulanush in the Gobi Desert preserve dinosaur fossils that tell the story of this rich and dynamic geological history. Since the 13th century, the Mongol Empire under Genghis Khan stood as the largest contiguous land empire in world history, ushering in an unprecedented era of trade and exchange between Asia and Europe. Following periods under Qing rule and Soviet influence, Mongolia transitioned to democracy in 1990 and began a revival of its traditional identity. The native religion is shamanism, which was later joined by Tibetan Buddhism as the state religion starting in the 16th century. As of 2023, about 87% of the population practices Buddhism, while the rest follow Islam, Christianity, and various traditional beliefs. Nomadic culture, deeply intertwined with nature, is expressed through the Gier, the Nadam festival, the long song known as Urtien Du, the horsehead fiddle called Morin Kur, and rituals that offer blessings for the land, water, and livestock. These values live on in every journey, every song, and every prayer, like a thread that binds people, nature, and the Creator together. Mongolia is considered one of the countries with the most extreme weather on the planet. Winters are long and bitterly cold, with temperatures in some areas dropping as low as -40 degrees Celsius. Summers are short, but filled with bright sunshine, with temperatures reaching up to 25 degrees Celsius. However, rainfall is scarce, ranging from 350 millimeters per year in the north to less than 100 millimeters in the Gobi region, leaving much of the country in a semi-arid state. Mongolia is currently home to more than 139 species of mammals, including some of the rarest on the planet. Across its vast skies soar over 440 species of birds, from waterfowl gliding over the Mongol Dagur wetlands to raptors circling high above the sun-scorched plateaus. Alongside them grow more than 5,600 species of plants, most of which are remarkably resilient to both drought and freezing cold. Located in the southern part of Mongolia and bordering China, the Gobi Desert is one of the world's most unique and arid ecological regions. Spanning over 1.3 million square kilometers, it is not only the largest desert in Asia, but also a classic semi-desert ecosystem where the landscape is shaped by rock, gravel, barren hills, and towering sand dunes. The extreme climate is the key factor that shapes all life here. The Gobi is defined by its ultra-arid conditions, with average annual rainfall below 200 millimeters and dramatic temperature swings from -40 degrees Celsius in winter to over 45 degrees Celsius in summer. These extremes have forged a harsh environment where only species with exceptional physiological and behavioral adaptations are able to survive. The Gobi Desert is not only preserved as a global natural heritage site, but also stands as a dream destination for those drawn to desert exploration, ancient geology, dinosaur fossils, and indigenous cultural heritage. It is home to a variety of unique and endemic plant and animal species, including the wild Bactrian camel, often called the ghost of the Gobi, a rare and elusive presence in this vast and arid land. Unlike the domesticated camels commonly seen in nomadic regions, the wild Bactrian camel is a completely distinct species. Genetic evidence published in early 2024 in the journal Current Biology confirms that the two species diverged evolutionarily nearly 1 million years ago. In Mongolia, they are known as kavtgai, which means flat head. The name refers to the unique shape of the skull that sets them apart from their domesticated Bactrian relatives. The wild Bactrian camel is smaller and more slender than its domesticated counterpart. Its humps are lower and pointed, shaped like rolling desert hills, rather than the full, rounded humps seen in domestic camels. With long, lean yet sturdy legs, it moves gracefully across rugged terrain and vast, sun-scorched deserts where shade is scarce. Its pale coat nearly reflects the daylight sun, helping to shield its body from the searing heat that can climb above 45 degrees Celsius during the summer. Even so, fewer than 1,000 wild Bactrian camels remain in the wild today. Roughly 600 have been recorded in remote regions of China, mainly around the Taklamakan Desert and Lop Nur area. In the southern stretches of the Gobi Desert in Mongolia, around 450 individuals continue their challenging journey of survival. According to the latest data from the International Union for Conservation of Nature and the Wild Camel Protection Foundation in early 2025, the wild Bactrian camel is currently listed as critically endangered, one of the highest levels of extinction risk for any mammal on Earth. Mining operations, expanding roads, and livestock grazing have drastically reduced the natural habitat of the wild Bactrian camel. Food and freshwater sources are now heavily shared with domestic sheep, goats, and camels. More critically, interbreeding with domesticated camels has severely weakened the pure gene pool, posing a serious threat to the species' survival even as some individuals remain in the wild. Increasingly frequent Zud winters, driven by climate change, have made it even harder for many to make it through the season. In recent years, winter survival rates in remote areas of the Gobi Desert have dropped by nearly 20% compared to the 2010 to 2020 period, according to a 2025 report from the Mongolia Academy of Sciences. To survive, the wild Bactrian camel has evolved to thrive in extreme climates. In winter, temperatures regularly plunge to -40 degrees Celsius. Snow can pile so deep that it buries the dry grass beneath, forcing the herd to scrape the ground with their feet through icy winds just to uncover food. Instead of seeking out scarce water sources, they eat snow to stay hydrated, made possible by an astonishingly efficient heat exchange system within their bodies. In summer, the sun scorches the land, with temperatures on some days soaring past 45 degrees Celsius. Under such intense conditions, the wild Bactrian camel can go without water for weeks. When it finally finds a water source, it can drink up to 57 liters in a single sitting, almost as if storing an entire season's worth of hydration within its body. No other member of the camel family can drink salty water without it affecting their health, quite like the wild Bactrian camel. In a land where fresh water is almost non-existent year-round, this ability is a gift that only the Creator could have bestowed in such a miraculous way. They often find natural sources of salty water, such as mineral springs and shallow salt lakes. The wild Bactrian camel has incredibly efficient kidneys and liver, capable of filtering out salt and reabsorbing water, allowing the body to stay hydrated even when drinking water saltier than the ocean. This very ability has enabled the wild Bactrian camel to survive through prolonged droughts. The wild Bactrian camel eats whatever it can find: dry grasses, shrubs, thorny plants, even salt-rich vegetation, plants that many other animals simply cannot digest. This rugged diet is their way of sustaining the fragile plant cycle in the semi-desert ecosystem, playing a vital role in seed dispersal and helping to maintain the nutrient balance of the soil. The nomadic life of the wild Bactrian camel has no final destination, only one journey after another. They live in small herds of 6 to 20 individuals, constantly avoiding human presence and reacting sharply to any unfamiliar signals. When sensing a threat, especially from predators like the grey wolf, the herd scatters, each camel heading in a different direction to reduce the chances of being caught. Years of research using GPS tracking chips by the Wild Camel Protection Foundation reveal that these camels can travel hundreds of kilometers each year in search of food and water, sometimes even crossing treacherous mountain ranges along the way. Sharing the harsh, barren land with the wild Bactrian camel is another resilient grazer, the Mongolian wild ass, known locally as Koulan. Koulan is also a common name for women in Mongolia, and notably, it was the name of Koulan Khatun, the second empress of Genghis Khan. In landscapes where surface water is nearly non-existent, the Koulan has developed a rare survival skill. They dig deep holes in the beds of dry river channels to reach underground water. These pits often become vital water sources, shared by a wide range of other wildlife, and at times even by livestock and local herding communities. Each year, their wandering journeys can span more than 70,000 square kilometers, among the longest terrestrial migrations of any land mammal. This constant movement not only sustains their own lives, but also helps spread plant seeds through their droppings, supporting large-scale biodiversity. They're also impressively fast, capable of reaching speeds up to 60 kilometers per hour. Since 1953, the Koulan has been fully protected in Mongolia. This country is also the only one to officially recognize October 25th as Koulan Conservation Day, a national reminder of the responsibility to protect this iconic species. On the quiet, stony slopes of the Gobi Desert, a creature with wings as wide as sails glides silently through the air. This is the lammergeier, also known as the bearded vulture, a bird of prey with some of the most unusual biology and feeding behavior in the natural world. In an environment that seems made only for sand, stone, and sun-bleached bones, not only do they survive, they serve as a keystone species in this stark, stripped-down ecosystem. Unlike other scavengers, the lammergeier doesn't fight over fresh meat or organs. Instead, it waits, silently watching the slow decay of a carcass, then appears when the flesh is no longer of interest to anyone else. It comes for the bones, the very last remains. Among all vertebrates, the lammergeier is the only known species with a diet made up of up to 90% bone. Its stomach is remarkably adapted to this diet, capable of digesting high levels of calcium and collagen with an acidic environment that reaches a pH of about 1, the same level of acidity found in car batteries. Thanks to this adaptation, bone marrow, rich in energy, becomes not just a primary food source, but a long-term survival strategy in a place where organic resources are incredibly scarce. The lammergeier has a striking physical presence. Its body length ranges from 94 to 125 centimeters, with a weight of 4.5 to 7.8 kilograms, and an impressive wingspan stretching from 2.31 to 2.31 meters, 2.83 meters, one of the largest among all birds of prey. Unlike most vultures, which have bald heads to stay clean while feeding on decaying flesh, the lammergeier is fully feathered, even across its head and neck. Its face is marked by a dramatic mix of black and white, with piercing blood-red eyes that give it the fierce look of a relentless predator. Beneath its beak hangs a distinctive tuft of black feathers, a feature that earned it the nickname bearded vulture. In the Gobi Desert, the lammergeier settles around the rugged highlands of regions like the Gobi Altai and Trans-Altai Gobi. They build their nests on sheer cliff faces at elevations above 2,000 meters above sea level, places so remote and inaccessible that few humans or other animals ever reach them. Unlike other scavenger birds that roam vast distances, lammergeiers in Mongolia tend to stay in place through the winter or travel only short distances to adapt to shifting weather and food availability. Their most remarkable behavior is the bone-dropping technique, picking up large bones, flying to heights of 50 to 100 meters, and then dropping them onto rocks to break them open. A full-grown lammergeier can carry bones weighing up to 4 kilograms, nearly half its body weight, and will repeat the drop multiple times until the bone shatters, revealing the nutrient-rich marrow inside. This behavior is the result of millions of years of evolution, all in pursuit of a single, extraordinary survival strategy: to consume the very last remnants of life. According to the latest data from BirdLife International and the Mongolian Raptor Research Institute in 2025, the population is estimated at only about 300 to 500 mature individuals. While this number is more stable than in some other parts of Asia, the species remains under threat from several factors: loss of nesting sites due to mining, collisions with high-voltage power lines, and poisoning from veterinary drugs like diclofenac. In the dry, rugged ecosystem of the Gobi Desert, the lammergeier serves as the final link in the chain, a biological recycler with no true replacement. The bones they consume or break apart help redistribute minerals back into the environment. Many ecologists refer to them as clean-up specialists, the last creatures to help keep nature clean, both physically and biologically. Lammergeiers have also appeared in ancient legends and spiritual beliefs. In old Persian mythology, the bird was known as Homer, a symbol of luck, power, and divine blessing. But in Europe, the name lammergeier, meaning lamb vulture, arose from a mistaken belief that they prey on young sheep. In reality, modern ecological research confirms that they do not hunt live animals. Their focus is solely on carcasses and the bones left behind. And if seen through the lens of faith, they stand as a testament to the wisdom of the Creator, showing that even what is discarded can become a source of life, a force for renewal, and a keeper of the earth's quiet cleanliness. Continuing southwest across Mongolia, where the layered borders between land and sky blur beneath snow-capped peaks, lies the Altai alpine meadow and tundra, a world that is quiet yet unforgiving. This region is the birthplace of many glaciers and headwater streams, supplying fresh water to the lower plains below. The Altai Mountains in western Mongolia are among the coldest mountain regions in Asia, where winters are long, temperatures often drop below -30 degrees Celsius, and snow blankets the land nearly year-round. At elevations ranging from 2,500 to over 4,000 meters, summers are short, cool, and highly unpredictable, with wide temperature swings between day and night, and frost appearing even in the middle of July. Cold winds, intense solar radiation, and low precipitation make this a harsh environment for life, one that only the most exceptionally resilient species can endure. Amid the icy peaks of the Altai mountains, a solitary figure glides through the thin veil of high-altitude mist. It is the golden eagle, a legendary bird of prey, silently ruling the skies. With a body length ranging from 70 to 100 centimeters and a weight of around 3.5 to 6.5 kilograms, the golden eagle is strikingly powerful, boasting a wingspan that can reach up to 2.3 meters. Its broad wings and strong chest muscles allow it to soar for hours on rare warm air currents rising between mountain ravines, almost without a single wing beat. A thick layer of feathers covers its entire body, including dense plumage on its legs that extends all the way to its talons, a signature trait that helps it stay warm through the relentless snowstorms at elevations above 3,000 meters. The golden eagle possesses eyes that rival high-performance optical lenses. Its vision is 4 to 5 times sharper than that of a human, capable of spotting a ground squirrel darting across a hillside from nearly 3 kilometers away. Perched high on rocky outcrops or soaring silently above, it pinpoints its prey with astonishing accuracy. Then dives in with a strike that can reach speeds of 240 to 320 kilometers per hour, the equivalent of a sports car at full throttle. The hunting tactics of the golden eagle are far from one-dimensional. Depending on the terrain and target, it may ambush from above, strike with a lightning-fast dive, or even hunt in pairs to break up a herd of prey. This adaptability allows it to tap into a wide range of food sources. During the harsh winter months, when live prey becomes scarce, it readily shifts to scavenging, an essential strategy for conserving energy during the most resource-limited time of year. With a natural lifespan that can exceed 30 years, the golden eagle remains a steadfast presence in the high mountain ecosystem. In Mongolia's nomadic tradition, the image of the eagle is deeply tied to strength, freedom, and the profound bond between humans and nature. In the frigid Altai mountains, Kazakh communities continue the ancient practice of hunting with golden eagles, birds of prey trained to catch foxes, hares, and lynxes. Female golden eagles, known for their power and agility, are raised from a young age and form a close, trusting relationship with their human hunters. Each year, the Golden Eagle Festival in Bayan Ulgi brings together around 70 hunters to compete in skill-based events, drawing large crowds of visitors. The competitions, ranging from calling eagles from a distance and simulated hunts to demonstrations of handling techniques, are performed with thrilling precision before thousands of locals and international guests. Today, there are about 400 Berkutchi, falconers that hunt with eagles, still practicing this ancient tradition, keeping it alive and thriving in the modern world. Beneath the sky, where the golden eagle soars, the slow, deliberate footsteps of a master of camouflage are etched into the snow. With a piercing gaze and fluid, silent movements, it stands poised, ready to launch a leap spanning over 10 meters toward its unsuspecting prey. This is the snow leopard. In an environment where winter temperatures regularly drop below -35 degrees Celsius, snow can fall even in summer, and fierce winds whip endlessly across rocky slopes. The snow leopard has evolved to adapt with remarkable precision. Its body is covered in 2 dense layers of fur, with the belly fur reaching up to 12 centimeters in length, serving as natural insulation against the cold. Its four large, soft, fur-covered paws help retain warmth and evenly distribute weight across the snow, acting like natural snowshoes that allow it to move silently over fragile, frozen terrain. Its compact yet powerful build, ranging from 22 to 55 kilograms in weight, with a body length of 100 to 130 centimeters, is a perfect blend of agility and balance. Its tail alone can exceed 100 centimeters in length. This multi-purpose tail acts as a counterbalance when leaping across deep mountain chasms, sometimes as far as 15 meters, and also serves as a blanket, curling around its face and neck to retain warmth while it lies motionless on snow-covered rocks during frigid nights. According to studies by the Snow Leopard Trust and Mongolia's National Biodiversity Conservation Agency in 2024, the snow leopard population in Mongolia is currently estimated at around 800 to 1,200 mature individuals, accounting for nearly 12% of the global total. Most are found in the western mountain regions, particularly across the Altai and Khangai ranges, with their distribution scattered across rugged, high-altitude terrain. Although the snow leopard sits at the top of the predator chain, it remains highly dependent on prey population structure, snowfall conditions, and the extent of human activity within its habitat. According to the International Union for Conservation of Nature, the snow leopard is currently classified as vulnerable, with a steadily declining population due to habitat loss, conflict with herders, and poaching. Their skin, teeth, and bones carry value on the black market, while certain body parts are still used in traditional medicine in some parts of Asia. At elevations between 3,000 and 4,500 meters above sea level, where oxygen is thin and vegetation is scarce, the snow leopard has chosen a realm where few other creatures can survive. Unlike lions or tigers, the snow leopard cannot roar. Instead, it communicates through hisses, low growls, and long drawn-out calls, usually heard during the mating season or when a mother is calling her cubs. They are solitary animals, living alone without forming packs, and their movements follow no fixed path. Instead, they adapt seasonally, tracking prey and adjusting to snow cover. In the Altai Mountains, their primary food source is the Siberian ibex, a strong, agile mountain goat that lives along rocky slopes. The snow leopard hunts with stealth and ambush, choosing dawn or dusk, the dimmest hours of the day, to take advantage of long shadows and shattered rock terrain as natural camouflage. Its silver-gray coat, speckled with black rosettes, renders it nearly invisible against the mottled backdrop of scree and snow. When prey appears, it moves in silently, then launches from above in a sudden burst, using a leap that can span over 10 meters to overpower and bring down its target in an instant. It's capable of taking down animals 3 times its own body weight, then dragging the kill to a secure spot where it can feed for several days. This strategy allows it to survive in landscapes with sparse prey, where each successful hunt can mean the difference between surviving and starving through the bitter winter. A distant relative of the snow leopard and a swift, elusive predator in its own right, the Pallas's cat, often known by its local name Manul, has quietly endured for thousands of years. With a compact body, stocky build, and short legs, this wildcat doesn't draw attention through sheer speed like the snow leopard, but rather through a finely honed survival strategy shaped by long-term evolution. Its flat, round face and low-set, wide-spaced ears give it a famously grumpy expression, an appearance that suggests sharp observation more than actual anger. Behind that look, however, lies a perfectly adapted biological design for open landscapes. Its large, forward-facing eyes provide excellent binocular vision, a critical tool for gauging distance while ambushing prey. For most of its life, the Pallas's cat lives alone. It is most active during dusk and dawn, times when the low light and long shadows provide ideal cover for staying hidden. With refined ambush skills, it often lies in wait near the burrows of pikas, voles, or field mice, then strikes suddenly when the moment is right. Short, precise leaps are the heart of its hunting strategy. In addition to small mammals, it also feeds on birds, insects, and lizards, essentially any small creature it can find in this frigid, windswept ecosystem. The Pallas's cat is one of the oldest surviving wildcats, with evolutionary roots that branched off early from other members of the Felidae family. Its most distinctive feature is its incredibly dense fur, the thickest of any wildcat, reaching up to 9,000 hairs per square centimeter, allowing it to survive the brutal cold of winter. As the seasons change, so does its coat, cool gray in the snowy winter, then gradually shifting to reddish or pale brown tones in summer, blending seamlessly with the dry grasses and dark rocks of the high plains. Beyond Mongolia, it can also be found in Russia, China, Kazakhstan, and other regions marked by cold, dry highlands. If you ever spot a Pallas's cat in the wild, would you snap a photo, quietly observe, or share the story with friends? Let us know in the comments below. As the last patches of snow cling to the steep rock faces and begin to melt, revealing fragile streaks of green along the Altai mountain slopes, a swift movement cuts across the rugged terrain. With every sure-footed step, the Siberian ibex moves with the confidence of a creature born from stone itself. As the most widely distributed species in the Capra genus, the Siberian ibex embodies a survival strategy built on terrain, mobility, and seasonal adaptability. Its range stretches from southern Siberia through Kazakhstan, Tajikistan, and Kyrgyzstan, across western China, and into the mountainous regions of western Mongolia. In the Altai Mountains in particular, this species plays a central role in the high-altitude forest ecosystem, where every rocky ledge and cliff face bears the imprint of ibex herds that have traversed these lands for thousands of years. The body of the Siberian ibex is a clear testament to evolution under environmental pressure. Its thick coat changes color with the seasons, often blending almost perfectly with the surrounding rock, an essential defense against the watchful eyes of predators. Its 4 powerful legs are equipped with hooves that feature hard outer rims and soft, concave undersides, allowing it to grip even near vertical surfaces with remarkable stability. Thanks to this anatomy, the ibex doesn't just climb, it leaps from one rocky outcrop to another with a precision few land animals can match. But what makes the Siberian ibex truly unforgettable to anyone lucky enough to encounter one is the massive, crescent-shaped horns of the mature males. These horns can grow over 1 meter in length, curving backward like symbols of age, strength, and rank within the herd. The prominent ridges along the horns mark the passing years, allowing researchers to estimate an individual's age, and they also serve as powerful weapons in fierce head-to-head clashes during the mating season. In summer, they ascend to elevations above 3,500 meters, climbing beyond the tree line to reach alpine meadows that seem to float between earth and sky. where sunlight lingers longer and vegetation flourishes. There, they graze on high mountain grasses, herbaceous plants, and wildflowers. In winter, when deep snow blankets everything, they descend to the southern slopes of the mountains, where the snow melts faster and food is more accessible. There, they dig through the snow with their hooves to uncover leaves, tender shoots, and even pine needles, foods many other herbivores cannot digest effectively. This highly fibrous, seasonally shifting diet has helped shape their complex, multi-chambered stomachs, allowing them to process large volumes of low-nutrient forage. Their seasonal movements form a survival map passed down through countless generations, through behavior, experience, and genetics. Herds of ibex retreat into the towering cliffs, leaving behind empty mountain slopes. Then comes the moose, the world's largest deer, arriving like a quiet punctuation mark at the close of summer in the Altai mountains. With an enormous frame, males standing up to 2 meters at the shoulder and weighing between 360 and 820 kilograms, with some individuals exceeding 800 kilograms, the moose stands as a symbol of endurance across northern Asia's harshest landscapes. Unlike other deer species that often gather in herds, the moose spends most of its life alone. Adult individuals rarely share territory except during the mating season, when males use their massive antlers, sometimes reaching up to 1.6 meters in length, to display strength, compete for mates, and mark their presence. These antlers are shed each fall to conserve energy through the harsh winter, then regrown in spring, often returning larger and more elaborate with each passing year. A thick, double-layered coat, an elongated snout that warms air before it enters the lungs, and long legs with wide hooves all equip the moose to move with ease through deep snow and marshy terrain. Though its eyesight is relatively poor, the moose has an exceptionally sharp sense of hearing and smell, allowing it to detect predators like the Mongolian wolf or even humans from a considerable distance, even when hidden by dense forest or mountain fog. Its large ears are constantly swiveling, catching the slightest movement in the air, while its long nose can analyze scents with remarkable sensitivity. As a large herbivore, the moose depends on a massive intake of food to sustain its size. In summer, it can consume up to 33 kilograms of vegetation each day. During the bone-chilling winter, that intake is cut in half, with the diet shifting to bark, dry twigs, and conifer needles, low in nutrients but rich in cellulose, which is efficiently processed by its specialized 4-chambered ruminant stomach. But the moose doesn't just feed on land. It can dive as deep as 5 to 6 meters into cold mountain lakes to forage for aquatic plants and algae, a surprising and rare skill for such a towering, heavy-bodied animal. In a world rapidly reshaped by climate change and expanding human presence into the wild, the moose endures quietly yet steadfastly as part of the soul of Asia's highland forests. It doesn't rely on ferocity or speed to survive. Instead, the moose chooses resilience, silence, and quiet adaptability as its way forward. Located in north-central Mongolia, the Selenge-Orkhon forest steppe is a rare transitional zone between coniferous forests and open grasslands, sitting at an average elevation of 1,200 to 1,800 meters. The climate here is cold temperate, with long, dry and deeply cold winters and short but wetter summers, creating a diverse habitat that supports species adapted to both chilly woodlands and arid grasslands. The multi-layered ecological structure, from mixed forests to lowland riverbanks, helps retain moisture, prevent erosion, and create ideal conditions for a rich variety of life to thrive. This region is one of Mongolia's biodiversity hotspots, serving as a vital biological corridor within the heart of inland Eurasia. Favoring the biological corridor between coniferous forests and open steppe, the Eurasian brown bear, despite its massive size, is far from a bloodthirsty predator. It stands as a prime example of an omnivore with a highly adaptable survival strategy. This bear species typically inhabits mixed forests, low hills, and river valleys. An adult can weigh between 150 and 300 kilograms, with males occasionally exceeding 400 kilograms under ideal conditions. Their fur ranges in color from light brown to nearly black, blending seamlessly with the golden tones of autumn foliage and the soft gray of winter snow. Despite their powerful build, which suggests the strength of a top predator, about 85 to 90% of the brown bear's diet consists of plant matter, ranging from berries, roots, tender grasses and soft leaves to pine nuts and mushrooms. When conditions allow, they'll also hunt or scavenge from sources like streamfish, hares, marmots, or large animal carcasses. During salmon spawning season, or when wounded animals are nearby, brown bears never miss an opportunity to boost their protein intake. As local salmon and whitefish swim upstream to spawn, the bear waits in ambush along shallow riverbanks, carefully watching the flicker of movement beneath the water's surface. With a single powerful swipe of its forepaw, a fish is flung into the air and lands on solid ground, where its fate is sealed with one swift bite. They can run at speeds of up to 50 kilometers per hour over short distances, swim with ease, and cross icy rivers without difficulty. With a sense of smell over 2,000 times stronger than that of a human, they can detect food sources or the presence of other animals from several kilometers away. A crucial biological advantage in the vast, sparsely populated landscapes of northern Mongolia. One of the most remarkable physiological traits of the brown bear is its ability to hibernate for 5 to 7 months. By late autumn, when food becomes scarce and nighttime temperatures begin to dip below -10 degrees Celsius, the bear automatically shifts into a state of extreme metabolic slowdown. Its heart rate drops from 40 to 50 beats per minute to just 8 to 10. During this time, its body runs entirely on stored fat, without eating, drinking, or eliminating waste. Seasonal movement is part of its rhythm. In summer, it climbs to higher elevations in search of food, then returns to sheltered areas to hibernate when winter sets in. Some individuals have been recorded traveling dozens of kilometers per week during the fall, building up the energy reserves needed for their long winter rest. In Mongolia, where pressures from livestock grazing, logging, and climate change continue to mount, the Eurasian brown bear is no longer as common as it once was. According to the latest data from 2025, the estimated population in the northern region, including the Selenge-Orkhon area, is just around 40 individuals. The presence of brown bear is a powerful indicator that the ecosystem remains healthy, expansive, and diverse enough to support a species with such high ecological demands and a wide-ranging territory. Shifting fully into the vast open steppe, the towering silhouette of the brown bear fades into the coniferous forests behind, giving way to a different kind of giant. The Altai wapiti steps into view with a powerful build, a rich reddish-brown coat that gleams under the light, and an immense branching set of antlers that fan out like ancient tree limbs. All of it blending so perfectly into the sweeping landscape, it feels as if this land itself was born to carry such majestic beings. A mature male Altai wapiti typically weighs between 200 and 380 kilograms. Its coat takes on a light reddish hue during spring and summer, then shifts to a darker, thicker brown in winter, a seasonal adaptation that helps regulate body temperature in the sharply contrasting climate of the continental interior. The male's antlers, often over 1.2 meters long and bearing 5 to 7 tines on each side, are a genetic emblem of strength and longevity. These antlers are shed and regrown each year, developing rapidly over a few spring months thanks to a blood-rich velvet layer that nourishes their growth, an element that has tragically made them a target of heavy poaching due to their perceived medicinal value in traditional practices. During the mating season, which typically falls between late September and early October, the echo through the forest is not just the wind, but the long, resonant calls of the males. Antler battles erupt with intensity, sometimes dragging on until both rivals are exhausted. The victor earns the right to access a group of females in estrus, ensuring that only the strongest genes are passed on to the next generation. The Altai wapiti displays a classic pattern of seasonal migration. In summer, they move up into higher, more humid forested areas in search of tender grasses, then gradually descend into sheltered forest valleys in autumn to overwinter in safer, more protected terrain. These migrations take place in herds, sometimes numbering from dozens to hundreds of individuals, maximizing foraging efficiency and enhancing their collective ability to detect their greatest predator. High above, the cinereous vulture has seen this truth all along. The cinereous vulture is the largest vulture species still existing on Earth. Weighing up to 14 kilograms with a wingspan reaching 3.1 meters, it doesn't rely on speed or agility to fly, but on sheer mechanical power and an extraordinary ability to glide effortlessly on rising air currents. In the sky's realm, where gravity is an unforgiving adversary, this bird is a colossal biological machine, engineered to live slow, fly high, and endure long. Amid the diverse ecological landscape of northern Mongolia, where elevations range from 1,200 to 1,800 meters, the cinereous vulture has carved out a quiet yet essential role in nature's cycle of renewal. With the ability to soar for hours without a single wing beat, this bird can cover dozens, sometimes hundreds of kilometers in a single day, searching for food. The carcasses of large animals left behind by nature or by other predators. Its powerful hooked beak and strong jaw muscles allow it to tear through tough hides and sinew, parts that smaller scavenging birds are unable to process. Its bald head and neck are classic adaptations for a scavenger, helping prevent bacterial buildup when feeding in environments rich in decomposing matter. Notably, its eyes are protected by a third eyelid, a thin, translucent membrane that sweeps across the eye, shielding it from blood and debris while preserving clear vision. The cinereous vulture's ability to soar at extreme altitudes is closely tied to its unique blood chemistry. It possesses a specialized form of hemoglobin that allows it to absorb oxygen efficiently, even at elevations above 6,000 meters, where the air is thin and pressure is low. Still, it must descend to lower altitudes to feed. Its massive body and biological structure are not built to digest food in the extreme cold found at such heights. The ecosystem of the Selenge-Orkhon forest steppe provides ideal conditions for nesting, foraging, and breeding for the cinereous vulture. However, the species is especially sensitive to human activity, particularly during nesting season. Even a single close approach or a change in noise levels from infrastructure projects, logging roads, or power stations can cause a mother bird to abandon her nest, leave her eggs behind, and in some cases, never return. Today, the cinereous vulture faces numerous threats: secondary poisoning from predator control campaigns, declining food availability due to overhunting, and climate change disrupting its breeding cycles. According to the International Union for Conservation of Nature in 2024, the species is listed as near threatened, with stable populations in parts of Europe, but ongoing decline in Central Asia and Mongolia, regions that were once key breeding strongholds. Stretching across central and eastern Mongolia, the Mongolian-Manchurian grassland is one of the last remaining intact temperate grasslands on Earth. Amid the wild and rugged expanse of the steppe, the Creator gifted Mongolia with a symbol of rebirth, the Przewalski's horse. To the Mongolian people, it carries a sacred name, Taki. In their language, Taki means spirit, an ancient emblem of strength, freedom, and resilience. The Przewalski's horse is not a branch of the domestic horse. It is the last truly wild horse species on Earth, never touched by domestication. Its body carries 66 chromosomes, 2 more than those of domesticated horses, a clear genetic signature of its separate evolutionary path. It's as if this horse was shaped specifically for the windswept, icy expanses of the open steppe, forged to live wild and free on its own terms. The appearance of the Przewalski's horse is strikingly primitive. A stocky build, short but powerful legs, a large head with a thick neck that radiates determination, and a distinctive upright black mane. Unlike familiar domesticated horses, their foreheads lack a forelock, that small tuft of hair, making them easy to recognize among other horse species. Just like the steppe itself, unyielding in the face of cold or drought, the Przewalski's horse has found a way to adapt through every challenge. As winter approaches, it grows a thick coat like a natural woolen cloak, insulating its body and shifting in color to blend with the dry grasses that blanket the land. This horse can also feed on bark, shrub leaves, and tough weeds, plants that few other grazers can digest, making survival possible even in the harshest seasons. Before 1969, the Przewalski's horse once roamed freely across the Central Asian steppe. But environmental changes, hunting, and competition with livestock pushed the species to the brink of extinction in the wild. For more than 3 decades, the horse known as Spirit existed only in captivity, kept alive in breeding centers across Europe. But that wasn't the end of their story. By the late 20th century, breeding and reintroduction programs sparked a new wave of hope. The Przewalski's horse was brought back to the grasslands of Mongolia, the place it has always belonged. As of 2025, the global population has reached around 1,500 individuals, with populations established in Mongolia, China, and Kazakhstan. Their journey is not just a biological miracle, it's a living testament to the power of perseverance and international collaboration. Across the vast, untamed steppes of Mongolia, it's not only mighty creatures like the Przewalski's horse that struggle to survive. Hidden among knee-high grass mounds, where even the smallest sound can travel far, the red fox emerges as a small, clever and quiet predator, moving through the landscape with stealth and precision. As one of the most widely distributed wild mammals on Earth, second only to humans, the red fox spans across nearly the entire northern hemisphere. It thrives from the icy Arctic to the arid landscapes of North Africa, from the grasslands of Europe to the high mountains of Central Asia. It has even adapted remarkably well to urban environments in Australia after being introduced there. In the Mongolian Manchurian grassland, red fox density was recorded at an average of 0.17 individuals per square kilometer as of 2024. Despite what its name might suggest, the red fox doesn't always wear the fiery red coat of a Mongolian summer sunset. Its fur can range from sleek silver to deep black, or appear in a distinctive cross-phase pattern, with a dark stripe running down its back over a reddish-brown base. Its long, bushy tail, thick with fur, not only helps it maintain balance while running, but also acts like a warm scarf during snowfall, curling around the body to conserve heat. The red fox has a lean yet resilient frame, measuring between 45 and 90 centimeters in length and weighing anywhere from 3 to 14 kilograms. Though smaller than many of the region's top predators, the red fox boasts one of the most finely tuned sensory systems in the animal kingdom. Its hearing is exceptionally sharp. It can detect the ticking of a wristwatch from 40 meters away, a rare ability even among nocturnal hunters. Recent studies also suggest that it may use Earth's magnetic field as a kind of natural compass to locate prey beneath deep snow or tall grass. When zeroing in on a sound, the red fox often aligns its body toward the north-northwest, a phenomenon biologists refer to as magnetic alignment hunting. The red fox hunts much like a cat stalking a mouse, slow, silent, and light-footed, then suddenly launching into the air with a pinpoint accurate pounce that can end a vole's life in an instant. But the red fox is an opportunistic omnivore. Its diet stretches beyond small prey to include berries, roots, and even carrion. When it catches more than it needs, it buries the extra under leaves, snow, or sand, saving it for leaner days. A survival strategy that speaks to a surprisingly long-term instinct for planning and resourcefulness. With a top speed of up to 48 kilometers per hour and the ability to leap over fences nearly 2 meters high, the red fox possesses truly impressive agility. By keeping rodent populations in check, it indirectly protects vegetation, playing a key role in maintaining the balance and long-term health of the steppe ecosystem. Located in northeastern Mongolia, Buer Lake is a freshwater body covering approximately 615 square kilometers, sitting at an elevation of 583 meters and stretching along the border with China. With an average depth of just 3 to 4 meters, the lake plays a crucial role in regulating water flow for the surrounding arid steppe. Fed primarily by the Koulan River, Buer Lake maintains stable wetland conditions year-round, supporting a thriving aquatic ecosystem and extensive lakeside marshlands. The climate here is not harsh enough to freeze the lake entirely, allowing water to keep flowing and habitats to remain accessible for numerous species of wild birds, making it both an ecologically valuable wetland and a site of international conservation significance. On the still surface of Buer Lake, reflecting the lakeside forests, glides one of the most beautiful ducks in the world, the mandarin duck. known not only for its stunning plumage, an exquisite blend of orange, deep blue, and iridescent purple like a watercolor painting, but also for its deep symbolism in East Asian culture. This bird represents loyalty and lasting love, often seen as a symbol of devoted partnership and happiness in life together. The males wear a dazzling coat of colors, like a living painting. A pale reddish face outlined in white, a deep purple chest streaked with bold, parallel white lines, and most striking of all, upright sail-like feathers in a fiery orange hue rising from their wings. But this brilliant display is like a fine suit worn only for courtship. After the breeding season, they enter a phase known as eclipse plumage, shedding their vibrant colors for a more subdued, female-like appearance, leaving only the red bill as a subtle sign of who they truly are. At Buer Lake, where forest meets water, mandarin ducks choose to nest in high tree cavities near the shoreline. From there begins one of nature's most fascinating breeding rituals. After hatching, the ducklings, unable to swim or fly, must leap from their elevated nest, plunging several meters to the ground below. What seems like a perilous jump is, in fact, a deeply rooted survival instinct, refined over thousands of generations. Their soft, lightweight down helps absorb the impact, and their tiny legs quickly carry them toward the water, following their mother into a world where they must learn to feed, evade predators, and adapt to ever-changing surroundings. Though native to East Asia, with breeding grounds stretching from eastern Siberia to Japan and China, mandarin duck populations have declined in some areas due to deforestation and climate change. However, in pristine ecological zones like Buer Lake, where tall forests, clean water, and seasonal wetlands converge, they continue to sustain a healthy portion of their population. According to 2024 surveys by BirdLife Mongolia, the species has been observed returning to the lake annually, especially during early spring and late autumn, aligning with their seasonal migration patterns. Though mandarin ducks have long symbolized marriage and fidelity in East Asian culture, modern studies reveal that their bonds often last for just a single breeding season. But in the wild world of birds, there are species that do, in fact, form lifelong partnerships. One of the most celebrated among them is the whooper swan, a bird long renowned for its steadfast devotion and enduring loyalty. A pair of whooper swans glide across the still surface of the lake, their heads gently touching, a breathtaking image of symmetry and grace. With wingspans reaching up to 275 centimeters and body weights of up to 14 kilograms, they are among the largest flying birds on Earth. They are not here to stay, but to rest, refuel, and prepare for the final leg of an epic migration, spanning thousands of kilometers from their subarctic breeding grounds to warmer wintering regions in southern Asia. Stable freshwater, abundant aquatic vegetation, and the relatively undisturbed shores of Buer Lake provide the perfect conditions for these birds to quickly regain their strength. They often gather in flocks of more than 40 individuals, gliding quietly through the morning mist or patiently preening under the afternoon sun. But when needed, the entire group can lift off in unison, forming striking symmetrical patterns against the crisp, open sky. The whooper swan can travel at altitudes of up to 8,000 meters to cross mountain ranges, relying on aerodynamics and wind currents to conserve energy during flight. Despite their massive size, They are capable of landing with pinpoint precision on lakes just a few dozen meters wide. Graceful giants navigating the sky with remarkable control. In the bitter cold of winter, when many lakes freeze over, whooper swans have been observed breaking through thin ice with their feet to access food, a behavior that showcases their remarkable adaptability to harsh frozen environments. Their diet is primarily plant-based, feeding on roots, stems, and leaves of aquatic vegetation, supplemented with seeds, grains, and occasionally organic matter along lake shores. During their juvenile stage, they also consume insects and small fish to boost protein intake for growth. Unlike many other water birds, they are not particularly noisy, yet they maintain strong social bonds through deep, resonant whoop calls, the very sound that gives them their name. The average lifespan of a whooper swan in the wild is around 9 years, though some individuals have been recorded living up to 26.7 years. They typically form breeding pairs during the mating season and often remain loyal to their partners throughout their reproductive lives. In Finland, the whooper swan is honored as the national bird, a symbol of purity, wilderness, and the enduring beauty of Nordic nature. At Buer Lake, each migratory season becomes a wordless symphony echoing across the open sky and endless land. And within that symphony, the presence of the whooper swan stands as living proof of the vital role wetlands play in the fabric of global ecological networks. Despite harboring a rich and stable diversity of bird life, Mongolia's natural landscapes are facing mounting environmental and climate challenges. The country's average temperature has risen by 2 degrees Celsius, leading to more frequent and severe dzud events. Harsh winters following dry summers that devastate the land. Between the winter of 2023 and early 2024, over 7.1 million livestock perished, triggering a livelihood crisis and placing additional strain on already vulnerable ecosystems. As livestock numbers surged past 60 million by 2024, overgrazing has led to widespread habitat encroachment, impacting species like the snow leopard, Pallas's cat, and the great bustard. Headwater streams have begun to dry up, disrupting the breeding cycles of endemic fish species in Lake Koulan and further stressing Mongolia's fragile ecosystems. The rising demand for velvet antlers as medicinal ingredients has led to the spread of semi-wild Altai wapiti farms across many regions. While this brings economic benefits, it also carries significant risks to genetic diversity, especially when wild populations are crossbred or disrupted by uncontrolled captive gene sources. This genetic dilution threatens the long-term resilience and integrity of natural herds. In response to these escalating environmental threats, the Mongolian government launched a bold conservation initiative in 2024 called Eternal Mongolia, a plan to protect over 14 million hectares of land and water, representing 30% of the country's territory by 2030. The project has received $71 million in funding from global partners, along with a $127 million commitment from the Mongolian government over the next 15 years under the Project Finance for Permanence model. Conservation efforts in Mongolia are being strengthened through a growing network of protected areas and community-based initiatives like Snow Leopard Enterprises, which supports local families economically in exchange for a pledge not to hunt the species. Meanwhile, reintroduction programs for the Przewalski's horse are expanding their reach, with growing populations in both Hustai National Park and the Great Gobi Bee strictly protected area. Amid the rising uncertainties of climate change and growing human pressures, Mongolia's wild nature is calling for our collective support. Protecting Mongolia today means safeguarding a greener, more resilient future for the entire planet tomorrow. And if you've ever ridden horseback across Mongolia's vast steppes or experienced nomadic life inside a spacious, round gyre, don't hesitate to share your knowledge and stories in the comments below. Your insights could inspire and fuel the ongoing efforts to protect rare wildlife and preserve ecosystems for generations to come. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and tap the notification bell so you can join us on more incredible journeys ahead. Or continue exploring the survival stories of wildlife in other regions with Wild Himalaya, Epic Struggles in the Roof of the World, or Wild Serengeti, Rulers of Ndutu, Grumeti, and Olduvai.